What's up, everybody? I'm gonna be telling a story today, whenever the viewing time is that you're viewing this. So, this story goes back a while ago when I was like 17. So, it's been a minute, but I was at my dog Brandon's house, which is how most stories for me start out. So, I was over at Brandon's house, and my girlfriend texted me, and she was wanting me to come over. And I wanted to, obviously. But she lives with her grandma, who is not cool with us being together. So we had to do it in secret, basically. So I left Brandon's house at like 12:30 in the middle of the night, basically. And I walked like 7 or 8 miles to her house, which is on the other side of town. So it was like freezing cold. And I had a book bag full of alcohol because I was gonna sneak in her window and drink it with her. So that's my plan at this point in time, which sounds like a dumbass plan, doesn't it? That sounds fucking retarded looking back on it. But anyways, I was walking. I made it about maybe 2 miles out of Brandon's house. Just walking on the sidewalk with my book bag in the middle of the night, looking homeless. And then a cop rolled up beside me, and he was like, "Hey man, are you good? Just making sure you're okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he was like, "Where you headed?" And I was like, "I'm going to my girlfriend's house, bro." And he was like, "Do your parents know where you are?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm 17 years old. My parents don't care where I'm at." And the reason I said that is because I look a lot younger than I am. So I probably look like 14 or 15, but I'm fucking 17 at this time. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm 17. Yeah, my parents are not worried about me right now." And he was like, "All right, well, do you need a ride?" And I was like, "I mean, if you want to take me, it's like 4 or 5 miles down the road. Uh, so I mean, if you don't mind doing that." And he was like, "All right, well, yeah, I can take you." And he was like, "But we have a policy. If we let anybody in our car, we gotta search their bags and search their person for weapons." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I guess I'll just walk." And he's a pretty chill ass cop. Like, my town has pretty chill ass cops. And he was like, "All right, well, just be safe." And I was like, "All right, well, thanks for checking on me and make sure I'm okay. I appreciate that." And so he went his separate way, I went my separate way. And it was a very chill encounter with the police. So then I keep walking, walk through a sketchy ass part of town. I felt like people were watching me, but they probably weren't. I was probably just chilled. But so I finally walk up to her neighborhood, and I call her, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm here. Let me in." She was like, "All right, hold on. I'm gonna make sure everybody in my house is asleep." And I was like, "All right." And so I was just kind of chilling, walking around outside of her house. And she lives in an apartment complex. So, it's not really that sketch. And then she's like, and she's on ground level, by the way, which makes things a lot easier. So she's like, "All right, come here." And so I walked over to her window, and she opened it. And I climbed in. And we started talking. We were having a good time. We drank the rest of this vodka that I had from earlier. And we were just laughing, giggling, having a good time, just being kids. Man, it was fun. And about that time, after we had kind of been talking for about 30, 45 minutes, her grandma, we heard her get up. And that's who she lives with. We heard her grandma get up. And I, like, laid down beside her so that maybe she didn't see me. Like, I laid down and tried to get, like, up under her so I, wouldn't be seen. And she was like, she opened the door and she looked over at my girlfriend. She was like, "What are you doing?" Then she walked over and looked and obviously saw me. Then she stormed out of the room yelling. And then I got up and Reagan was like, I didn't mean to say her name, but I just said it. She was like, "Well, hurry up. You gotta get up out of here. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta leave now." And so I started getting my shoes on, putting everything back in my book bag. And I didn't know what her grandma was doing. But I climbed out of the window. And as soon as I got out of the window, I looked over to my left. And she was sitting on the porch talking on the phone. And she put her phone down away from her ear. And she was like, "I'm taking a warrant out on you right now. So you better stay right where you're at." And I was like, "No, I just wanted to see her. I like her a lot, and I wanted to see her." Which sounds dumb. I know. I was a dumbass little kid. But it's alright. And so I was like, "No." And so I started running. And then she was talking on the phone, and she was like, "Yep, he's running. He's running away." And she was talking to the cops. And so I ran, and I ran, and I cut through some yards, and I ran through these woods, and I ended up on a train track. And I was kind of sketched out because I didn't know what the fuck was going to be on that train track. I knew I was going to walk it because I knew the cops were looking for me, and I didn't want to be on the main road. So I walked the tracks. But what I did, just because I'm a weirdo, and I think I'm some type of survivalist, amazing guru, I took a pretty decently thick stick and I started sharpening it on the train tracks. Like, I sharpened it into a point where it could stab something. So that way I felt safer. If like a mountain lion, jumped at me, I could at least try to stab it. But that was just me thinking that I'm Bear Grylls, so disregard that. So eventually I came to a road. Like, I was walking the tracks for probably like 30, 45 minutes, and I eventually came to a road that crossed over the tracks. And I walked down the road, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know where I'm at." And it was kind of farther away from Brandon's than I hoped it would be. So I got on my phone, and I had like fucking $12 in my bank account. And so I mapped out an Uber to see how much it'd charge me. And it was literally like $11.80. Like, I had the perfect amount of money. And so I was like, alright, perfect. So I called an Uber right there at the road I was at, right there near the train tracks. And I just sat down on the side of the road at like 3 a.m., just sitting there. And after about 15, 20 minutes, the Uber rolled up and got in. He seemed like a chill guy, riding around doing Uber in the middle of the night. But he took me all the way back across town to Brandon's. And I got out and thanked him for the ride and gave him a good review. Then I walked into Brandon's backyard, and everybody in Brandon's house was asleep, and the house was completely locked up. So I had to go to his shed in his backyard and get a ladder and go put it over by his window and I climbed up the ladder to his window, and he left his window unlocked for me. So I opened up the window, and I got in like halfway into the window, and I kicked the ladder down so it didn't look like I did that. And then I came in, shut the window, locked it, and went to sleep right there in the living room on his couch. So, yeah, crazier times in my life. Definitely fun, but crazy. I would never do nothing like that again. But I'm glad I was like that for a while because it gives me something to reminisce on. But yeah, that's a story from earlier in my life. If you guys want to hear more, definitely let me know because I want to start making more of these, but I just been busy with work and I get home and I just don't feel like it. But if I got people telling me to make them, I will. So, Twist Premium, that's another story for you. Hope you liked it. Leave a like and a comment.